Thank you for tuning in to this segment of the WATCHBOX review. And in this chapter, I'll be reviewing the Wenger Batallion 3 dive watch, which you see right here. So let's get the watch out of the box and show you guys up close what makes this watch special and what doesn't. So here is the Wenger Batallion 3 that I'm reviewing for this segment. So let's take a close look here. It's a 42mm diameter bezel, 200-meter water-resistant dive watch. It has a screw-down crown that you see here to keep moisture out of the watch, and it has a unidirectional rotating dive bezel, which I'm going to show you here. You simply rotate it around and around, and you can use this to measure your elapsed time. It rotates with 120 clicks around the perimeter of the watch. So here is the bracelet. It's a pretty cheap, low-grade bracelet. It's constructed entirely of folded stainless steel. It doesn't really look like it is at a glance here, but if you bend the bracelet, you can see the ends here of the stamped bent sheet metal that they used to construct this bracelet. None of it is polished, it's all brushed, and you can see some of my scratches here in the finish itself. So I'm pretty rough with a lot of my watches. I don't baby them by any stretch of the imagination. So I wear them, and they show their battle scars, so to speak, both on the bracelet and the clasp. Clasp is pretty cheap, low grade. Again, everything's folded steel here. None of this is really extravagant or high dollar. So, but it's serviceable. It does the job. It's not really heavy, so the watch overall just completely tends to disappear while you're wearing it. It's not a big, heavy statement kind of a watch at all. So the end links on this watch are likewise folded steel, and they are 20 millimeters across. So it's very, very easy to find a very good, suitable replacement solid link stainless bracelet for this timepiece here. Let's take a look at the screw down case back, and there it is. It's got a Wenger logo, a little pocket knife logo, and some Swiss made country of origin notes on it, water resistance specs, and likewise it has been scratched quite a bit, just from banging around against the bracelet. So, here you can see the back side of the folded end links. One of my complaints about this watch is the end links were a bit loose when I got it, so I had to kind of bend them down myself so that they make a nice tight fit with the watch case. So now that I've done that, the watch doesn't rattle and clang around nearly as much as it used to. So let's focus back around to the front of the watch and look at the dial in further detail. So the dial is really nice. I'm really a fan of sunburst finishes on dive watches. I think they're elegant, classy, and conservative indoors, but when you take them outside and you shine the sunlight on them, they really flare up and really liven up what is a pretty dull-looking watch, I think. So I've got a couple watches now that have a sunburst finish on it here. This one here is a navy blue sunburst, and there's also a little date window there at the bottom. So the crystal itself is very slightly scalloped and rounded over here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's just a very, very slight bubble dome to it. So it kind of adds to a nice little elegant feel and appearance to the timepiece. So let's dim the lights and take a look at the Loom. So So those of you who have seen my other WATCHBOX reviews, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my flashlight and shine it on the face of the watch to charge up the glow-in-the-dark paint. Okay, so there you go. After a minute or two of light exposure using my flashlight, here is the glow-in-the-dark illumination. So right away, I think you can see one of my biggest complaints about this watch. Besides the bracelet, my second, I guess, biggest complaint is the loom on the dial is pretty weak at best. And you can see it here just within 15 or 20 seconds of this video. The dial loom is starting to fade out and has kind of a hazy, blotchy kind of look to it. Compared to the hands, of course, they obviously, spend more money illuminating the hands than they did the dial. And clearly the dial is one area where they cut corners, I think, on this timepiece. So to put that into perspective, I paid about $120 for this watch. I've seen them at Costco for around $75. But to put that in perspective, the $50 to $99 Invicta 5017 has much, much better dial illumination than this piece here. So, in fact, there you can see it after just a minute here of filming. The dial illumination is almost completely dim, or considerably more dim than the hands. So let's turn the lights back on and show you the box and the packaging material. Okay, so here's the box that the Wenger Batallion came in. Pretty nice. Stamped metal. Little enclosure here. I've got a nice instruction manual. It came with a warranty card, but I mailed that back in. So, typical generic. Whoopsie, there you go. I'm sorry, I'm off camera. Typical generic timepiece manual, I think, that comes with most Wenger timepieces. So nothing really special about that. Nice little leatherette, I guess, simulated leather accents throughout the case, and not bad overall. So again, I paid about $120 for this timepiece. I've seen the black version at Costco for $70. And so definitely do your shopping before you buy. Know what you're buying and know where you're buying it from, and know the prices online and at the retail discount outlet stores, because you can probably get this watch for much less than you think. So there you have it. So that concludes this chapter of the WATCHBOX review and the Wenger Batallion 3.